Welcome to the Original Fighter's Voice. I'm your host, Don Mcguire. All of you people always ask me to bring on the one, the only, the legendary Mr. Burt Watson. So, you know what? I felt it, I feel it, and I love my man. So let's roll with it, baby. What are we going to do? We going to
We
roll all night
rolling,
long?
baby, all night long.
you
What's up,
know,
Big Don?
bruh, it's just taking life as it comes. Everybody wants to make more of life than it should be. And if I think about yesterday, then I take away from today. If I
Uh-huh.
think about tomorrow, then I'm depriving myself of these moments that I get with you right now. See, the greatest part about life people don't understand is the moment. And I got to witness many, many moments with you in your career that are in that book behind you. You know, First and foremost, because I didn't want to talk about the book because I know a lot of my friends bought the book. They love the book. A
Yeah,
lot of
good.
people are now begging me to get you to, and I'm trying to tell people, he can't autograph. I said, what I could do is send him a roll of the stickers like we do for the UFC collector's cards,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and we can sign them and just stick them in there. And I
I,
mean, but
I'd be happy to do whatever you'd like me to do. But this is my new journey, baby. That's 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 my pride and joy right now, and I'm excited uh, uh, of about some of the things, and it's funny because between a month ago or the book actually came out in August or so. So I'll say between September and last night, I've seen people that I've written about in the book, the progression to different phases of their lives, and me in the book talking about early stages and early things like John Jones and Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, and how they've now stepped into different phases of their lives, and just different platforms, man. And it's amazing. Mike Tyson, you know, uh, to have had the opportunity to work with all of those folks and to have legitimate stories of them when they were just trying to make it where they are today, and it's fascinating, man. It's definitely. So enough of
it,
my shameless plug of my book.
no, bro, I want you, brother. We brothers. If you can't come on here and plug your book, then what good am I? But see, what I like what you said in there because a lot of people don't even realize that I was a vice president for Jackson Wink Athlete Development for
Hmm.
about a year, and I had John Jones, Michelle Watterson, all of them underneath me, and plus all the new intakes and all the
Right.
directors worldwide. You know, People don't understand what you did and what I kind of did is a 24-hour a day job. You don't get to sleep,
No,
you
no.
you sign up for it, you deal with it. Because see, most people don't understand, like the people that we deal with in the backside of the sport, they may live in Wales, they may live in Ireland or New Zealand or Australia
Right,
or South
right, right,
Africa. We're in
right,
the US.
right.
So people in the US, when you ask them how many time zones they say four. Uh, in our world, there's about 11, and you got to take a phone call whenever those people wake up or have to do business with you. So it could be 2:30, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, wow. It's interesting that you say that, and no shame, no shameless plug, but I kind of had a little bit of a chat yesterday with John Jones. And like you
Yeah.
said, taking the call in the middle, I was in the middle of a doctor's appointment with my wife yesterday, and they were actually talking to me about the appointment that she had, and I looked down and it was John. It was John Jones kind of texting me back and kind of trying to reach out to me. And I'm sitting there now. Do I get up and say excuse me to go text this back, or chatter back with him, or do I sit here and take care of my wife? Well, of course I made that decision to sit there, but as you said, it's the world doesn't wait for us, and the world doesn't stand still for us. It just keeps going. And like the Flintstones, baby, you're going to have to stop it with your feet the best way you can. Okay. And if you can't, you're done. But it's ironic that you said that, because that happened yesterday.
You
Exactly
know,
as you just said it.
well, it's crazy because the last time he fought 3 years ago was right after I left Jackson Wink, and John called me and he said, "Bro, we good, right?" And I said, "Why wouldn't we be?" He goes, "Well, I got Greg Jackson, and because I left Jackson Wink because they didn't pay me. Let's be honest about it. But that doesn't mean I had a problem with the fighters. And
Right.
I've never had a problem with Greg Jackson. The person I had a problem with is Winklejohn
Mm-hmm.
and Misha and Jeffrey Chavez. So if you really want to take it in that parameter, I told John, I said, man, bro, even if I did have a problem with him, he's been in your corner every title fight. Who am I to deny you to have Greg Jackson in your corner when he's been there every time? I said, bro, as long as it ain't Winklejohn, we good. And well, I'm straightforward and honest, man. You know this. And it's like, I don't like people taking advantage of fighters. I cannot say that Greg Jackson has, but I'll keep my mouth shut on the other. But I came in the sport, December 12th will be 41 years ago. And the reason I came into the sport was to give back the way my grandfather gave to me. And that's how I roll my walk. I'm constantly giving back. I don't brag about it. I don't share about it. I'm just about it. Because see, us OGs, a lot of people in this new industry, they don't understand. You know, like if a situation happens at an event, me and you, we ain't saying nothing. We're gonna keep our mouth shut, whether it's good, bad, or whatever. These other people now in the sport, they want to create. Let's say there's a fight at an event. First thing they want to do is call the police. Well, what happens, Bert? Then the promotion looks bad.
Mm-hmm.
Then the hotel don't want you back. So people got to understand, us people that have came from 30, 40 years ago, we're just built differently. Because when I came in, I couldn't even speak in this industry. When I walked in my first boxing event, they told me, "You're a fly, bro. Stick to the wall and keep your damn mouth shut." And that's how it was for me. But I learned that way. Back in the early days, man, I know you know Smoking Joe and all this, but I want to take you to the MMA side of your walk. And then I'm going to get to all these comments because there's a crap ton of them. Um, what was it like for you, my brother? Because I know you personally, but what was it like for you to have, and I know it may be a little jaded here, I guess, but what was it like for Dana White to come in the early days and grab you and ask you to be the babysitter of the stars? Because I know Burt Watson, and in my heart, I don't think you did it for Dana. I don't think you did it for the UFC. I think you did it for Burt Watson and for the protection of those fighters and for the betterment of the fighters. So, what did that moment mean to you, Burt, when you got handed and were asked to be an overseer, a caregiver, and a person that truly meant something to these warriors and these legends that we all grew up loving?
It was, and I've always said this, that my intent when I first came into to combat sports was the mindset of working with a fighter, working with young fighters, and me saying to a fighter, "I'm never going to let that happen to you again," or "I'm never going to let that happen to another fighter ever again." So each and every time that I was offered a job or asked to work, I was given an opportunity to do that. And to use a military phrase, defend and protect. And each time I was given a job, I was given a job to do that. And when Dana White approached me to doing that, he did not ask me what I was going to bring to the table or how I was going to bring it to the table or when I was going to bring it to the table. But he asked me to bring it to the table. And that for me was a sign that I was going to be allowed to work as comfortable as I could and as I knew how. And I knew right away that my first mindset was protecting the fighters and working with the fighters. And I learned through working, working with Don King and Bob Arum and Butch Lewis and Lou Duva and just Cedric Kushner, just back in the day, how fast promotions and television production can move. And when they move that fast and as fast as they could and should and have to, they can't pay attention to or don't pay attention to the well-being of the fighter, the mindset. They're interested in the mindset of the fighter, and they only interested in that when them lights come on and that bell rings. Yeah. But before that, I won't say they don't care, but it's not in their wheelhouse to be concerned about it. So I always made sure that it was in my wheelhouse and that I was directed. And the most important thing to me was to make sure that the mindset of the fighter was there for when that bell rang. And it was important, man, because no one took the time to listen when the fighters needed to be heard. Because you can't talk and listen at the same time.
No.
When you got those big promotions, promoters are talking, the television people are talking, the production people are talking, the venue people are talking, the hotel people are talking, but very few people are listening. And you can't talk and listen at the same time.
No.
I don't care who you are. Okay, it just doesn't happen. So you have to listen, and I've always made it a point to try to listen, at least to make it an effort to know that I had to listen.
Yeah. And I love the way you explain it, because a lot of people don't. I mean, they think they understand the sport, and I'm not degrading anybody, but I just found out this little tidbit about myself the other day, and I didn't even realize it. But I shot 30 years in 35 millimeter, and I've only shot 11 years in digital. So to be, I had to teach myself how to shoot digital. But here's the crazy thing. Okay, the guys that I had to go against when this came out had already had 2 years college.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, bro. They just handed me a digital camera. I went to the camera store and paid them to help me program it, but I didn't know what I was doing. And if I would have made one slip at that fight that night, I didn't know what would have happened. My career would have been ended. But you know what? It's like with anything. You pick your head up, you do what you got to do, and you move forward. And that's where I'm at in life. And I want to kind of explain to people before we move forward. The last surgeon jacked up my back. I had to go to ER a couple weeks ago. They said, what did he do in your back other than the 2 cages? Because he sure as heck didn't clean anything out. Now they rescheduled another surgery where they want to fuse almost my whole back. I'm not letting this quack touch me, but the insurance company had to let them set this appointment so we can get into a bigger hospital and get a real doctor. So in the meantime, I mean, I just been doing what I got to do. I go in the Hall of Fame on the 6th of next month, and I wanted to do shows because I'm tired of laying down, bro. Even though I hurt, I want to get up and be me. I'd rather get up here for an hour and be happy with you than to lay in the bed and cry about it. Because what you share with the world is brilliant, man. I don't admire anybody in this sport as much as I do Burt Watson. And I'm not kissing your ass. I'm not, bro. It's just we've been through too much together, and life is too real. And that's what I love about who you are. And a lot of these people, I better get to some of these people. Paul Driscoll, they call him Little Holmes. He's one of Larry Holmes' best friends. Says, hello, Don, and the man, Mr. Burt Watson. And still, he's out of Canada. And then and a bare knuckle fighter, pretty cool dude. Ward Lavelle Kendall says, I'm here, brother. I'm so excited for this one. One love. Rude boy, love you both. And we love you too, bruh.
Yes, indeed.
He said, it's a fantastic book. I want a signed copy. Well, I'll get you that information, brother, so
Yes,
we can
sir.
make it
Yes, sir.
happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then Coach Anthony C. Cruz, he just threw up some fists. He great dude. And then Ward says, you're a complete legend. You know, Bert, how does that make you feel when people call you a legend, when people call you iconic? Because I know how it makes me feel, and I'm uncomfortable with it because I don't see myself in that light. And I'm pretty much, I'm sure you're the same way, aren't you?
Well, I've had this conversation with you. You know, it's the one thing I've learned that the only thing you have to do is to learn how. Again, I go back to listening because you can't talk and listen at the same time. You go back to listening to what people have to say to you and about you, and that appreciation on your face says it all. You don't have to say anything. Just that appreciation on your face says it all. And for the most part, it's I've learned that people are going to when people tell you what they really feel, they really mean it. There's a reason that they're saying it, and they've thought about it. And some people have waited to say it to you, just as bad as some people have waited to tell you that you're an ASSHOLE on the other end. Okay, there are people that
Yeah.
want to tell you that. They wait to tell you that. And so I relish those and respect when people say those things to me. And I also know what that means. You know, I mean, I have people that I consider legends or that I've, working with Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, and George Foreman and Larry Holmes and those guys were and Ken Norton was legendary. Those people were legends. Julio Cesar Chavez, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. And that's how I felt about those people. So to hear that from someone else about me, you know, it's something for me to listen to, and you never know how to respond to it. But as I said, that acceptance on your face and your body says it all. You can say, "Oh, that's great," but if you don't look like you really mean it, it says nothing. It says nothing at all. But I appreciate it, and at this stage of my life, at the age that I am now, I listen to it, man, and I appreciate every bit of it. Appreciate it. But I also know that I've worked in my life towards keeping my life to myself. And I've worked towards you work with fighters, man. You've been in this business forever. And you hear how people talk about other people and how people feel about other people. I've never wanted to be one of those in a group that people talked about unfavorably. In a group where people called me an ASSHOLE. I never wanted to be in that group, but I've sat and listened to that so many times.
Can I interject? And I've never interrupted you, and I'm sorry for doing so, but I have to make a point on this. Because I'm not going to bring up the people's names because I
Mm-hmm.
don't play that. But
Okay.
you know me, bro. I'm black and white. If I get up in your feelings, that's your problem, not mine.
That's on you,
But I,
baby.
but I'm not going to create a problem either. So there was an event that happened about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and all of a sudden I got 5 phone calls. I wasn't at the event. I got 5 phone calls from 5 different people telling me that particular day was talking crap about me, and dragging my show through the ground and this and that. So I waited a day and I thought about it. I waited till the next day, and then I called that individual up. He didn't expect to hear from me. And I said, bruh, keep my name out your mouth. He said, your name wasn't coming out my mouth. I said, bro, I got 5 coaches. You going to tell me that 5 coaches and trainers are lying to me? I said, and then you're going to try to tell me that you didn't come back later and tell me you were joking about me and that it was just a joke, not to take it serious? I said, bro, I don't got to be in your presence to know when you're talking smack about me. I said, keep my damn name out your mouth. And,
Real.
he ran to my boss. He didn't get him anywhere. And the bottom line is, I don't care who you are. You come at me sideways and you try to disrespect me, I'm not going to text it. I'm not going to inbox it. We're going to talk man to man. Because you know what? I don't downgrade anybody in this industry. All I do is push people up in this industry. And if you're going to talk crap behind my back, then I don't want nothing to do with you. And next time it happens, I'll leave the promotion. So the bottom line is, I'm going to come up winning every time because I built my brand over 40 years organically, and I'm going to continue to be here organically. When Joe Rogan called me and asked me, how did I get so high up in the syndicated show when I had my show with iHeart, doing it on a pauper's pocket? Because he had money. People don't understand. I haven't had no money in this industry. But the thing about it is what I'm getting at, Joe and all them had millions of dollars behind them. I've never had money behind me. Wherever I got in this industry, I earned it. I built it. I earned it. I protected it. I cared for it. And look it, I got a mentor like you. Burt, when you sit back at night, because I know you're a man of deep thought, and we're going to get into boxing here in a second, but when you sit back at night and you think about the people that have come into your life, the treasured memories, the treasured moments, the real reasons why we're in this sport. Because I'm going to tell everybody, we're not here for the fights.
Right.
We're here for the relationships and the moments and the people that grace our path. So what does that moment mean for you, Burt Watson, being that you've been here since they put up the Statue of Liberty in New York? I'm joking with you. No, but what does it mean for you?
I helped them put it up. You kidding me?
But what does it mean for you? Because I cherish fight night. I cherish those moments that I get to see my brethren and my sisters that I don't get to see very often. Those are the moments that matter the most for me. What are the moments that matter the most for Burt Watson?
I'll tell you, it's you say that you cherish those nights and those times and the events, and I absolutely when I'm working and I'm at an event and I'm controlling and coordinating an event, those are my moments. And I will honestly tell you that I have been, first fight I ever saw was March 8th, 1971. That's some math you need to do. And I have been kind of in and out of combat sports since then. This weekend, November 15th and 16th, the very first time that I have ever sat and watched 2 full fight cards. Sat and watched. I sat and watched that entire Tyson card, just whatever I saw. And I actually went to Madison Square Garden this weekend. So those are the first 2 times that I've ever really, really sat through a fight. And sitting back and watching them, I missed it. Okay. And I was fidgety. But at the same time, I realized how important that part of my life is and how much it really meant to me and how much of a void that it filled, because I didn't have time to think about anything else, or worry about anything else. Sitting in that arena not doing anything. Really, I didn't really know what to do with myself, but I did it. But it's been so long and so many fights that I've done, and it's special, man. There's nothing like it. It embolds your mind, your thought process. It keeps me healthy. It keeps my mindset young, so to speak.
Yeah.
I am a mature man. I'm not going to say senior citizen. I'm
No.
just going to say I'm a mature man. But I'm, you know what? I like I said, I was going back and forth with John Jones yesterday, but at the same time at a doctor, with my wife and myself and checking my health, and I'm in fairly decent shape, man. And at my mature age, but I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful. And I'm glad I got to see that, because along the way I learned a ton of lessons. And I had quite a few examples to learn those lessons.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take my eyes off of nobody. I watched everything anybody did, regardless of whether he was the main event, co-main event, first prelim, first fight in the arena, last fight out at night. I paid attention to everybody.
Yeah. See, that's what I've always loved about you, bro. And we're going to get to boxing right now, but I just want to add, this last part to it, because people don't really see the side of you. I think we were in Biloxi, and I was wiping up. We talked about it once or twice on the show before, and I was wiping up that water. And I remember Mike come up and he was all mad. He said, "What the hell are you
What are
doing?"
you doing?
And Burt said the same thing he'd be doing. I said the same thing you'd be doing if I wasn't doing it. And Burt said, "I'd have been doing it first." You know,
For real.
but see that's how you are, bro. It's like no matter what, and I still believe you're a 24-year-old man in your body, because I ain't never seen nobody run the back of the house like you do and do because I'm younger than you and I can't even keep up with you, bro. That's the crazy part. I'm gonna get to these things real quick because I want to talk about some boxing. Because Jonathan Cole, Jonathan, you know him from previous shows. Jonathan got in a wreck a while back. I believe he broke his back, just broke his leg. And he's in pretty bad shape right now. He's actually in the hospital right now. So, Jonathan,
No.
my prayers go out to you, brother. I'm glad you were able
Speedy
to tune
recovery,
in.
my man. Speedy
I love
recovery,
the
Jonathan.
great dude, just a great dude. And then Coach Anthony Cruz says, so true on what you stated. Ward Lavelle Kendall says, it's guys like you that make the combat sport so great. Our world is amazing with you guys. What would you like to say to that?
How much I appreciate it. And it's always good when people notice and understand that you're trying to give and not trying to take.
Yeah.
And the more confidence a person has in you, the more confidence they have in the things that you say. And they listen to those things. So when I hear things like that, it just tells me that I'm still speaking right.
Man, bro, you're I love you to death. I don't care if you get mad at me. I'm gonna say it in front of everybody. I love you to death. My adopted grandfather.
You're my man.
My adopted grandfather, Mr. Artie Lamparella. Remember Billy Costello?
Yes.
He used to work with Billy
Wow.
and Evander and all them back in the day. Man, that's my
Okay.
adopted grandfather right there. Man,
Okay.
he even messed around a little bit with Randy Commish Gordon and a couple other people, Jerry Cooney and all
Old
them.
school.
What is the school I come from?
Yeah.
I just look pretty.
Yeah, I feel you.
But But what's crazy, bro? I wanted to talk to you about this because it bothered me what happened this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Pavlik's going to come on tomorrow and talk more about it. Because as
Give
old
Kelly my
timers,
best. Give Kelly my best.
oh, I will, bro. Just like when I brought Paul Vaden on with you. I hope y'all
Yeah.
got in contact. Man,
Yeah.
he's a
Yeah.
lovely, lovely, lovely
Yeah.
ex-champion
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
brother. But I look at what happened. I don't even want to talk about Mike yet. We might get to that. But one thing that really just chaps me sometimes, and it's the fans
Mm.
and other people in this industry that ruin our sport, and they don't even know it. Because boxing, for the most part, has been taken and uprooted from the United States and put in Saudi Arabia. We have a couple people trying to do things. Even Dana's talked about opening another league in boxing here in the United States.
Right.
But
Right.
what I saw was one of the greatest women's co-main events in boxing history. You know, only to be tainted by social media. See, and I know everybody's probably going, yeah, but let me explain something. You have an official, a referee in the ring for a reason. The first headbutt, the splitter, was accidental. Okay, the other ones that he took the point for, that's fine. But Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrato both lead with their heads. Both of them lead with their heads. And you can't sit there and tell me that Serrano didn't try to, grind up into her and back and forth. But if it would have been Roy Jones Jr. or Bernard Hopkins or somebody else, there wouldn't even be an issue. You see what I'm saying? In the men's industry of the sport, they grind into cuts. They push their head into a cut while you're fighting.
Right.
I mean, it's part of the game. That's why it's called a fight. But why, when two women, when the situation happens between two women, they want to say, "Oh, CompuBox." Well, let me tell you, CompuBox is a bunch of crap. You got four people sitting around the ring, and I go like that, and it might look like I hit you, but I didn't. They're going to hit a button, and they're going to say, I hit you. All CompuBox is a number, and so if you don't want to lose the fight and you want to cry about the fight, then you're not good for the sport. Because what's the number one rule when you go into a world caliber fight like that, Bert? What's the number one rule? Who do you never let it go to?
Never, ever, ever leave it to the judges. You leave that stuff to the judges, they're going to make you cry. But you know something you said was that each one of those ladies, somewhere along their career, has had an incident like that.
Yeah.
That each one of them has, at one point in their career, or at one fight, done that. Now, you know that. There's no reason a referee shouldn't know that. Now, very true. It's not always you get your fight assignments before fight nights. I think now they kind of make it. I think now they kind of make sure that most of the referees know which fight that they're fighting. You do your homework, and if you're in this industry, you get to know the participants. You know habits, you know techniques, you know styles, you know what to look for, and I mean, like you just said, that each one of those ladies at one point has had that happen to them. So that's something that a referee should have known or should know, and probably should have said something. They will say anything else in the middle of the fight. There are, and I tell fighters in boxing, there are 26 ways to lose a fight other than getting knocked out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and name all of them, but there's so many. And three of them are sitting around the ring. and one of them's in the ring. All right, that's four of the 26. Okay. So, with that kind of situation and that scenario, there's no way that should have continued as far in that fight as it did.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the fact that I can't remember the last time I've seen a women's fight that had that much action in it.
Yeah,
I,
right.
that was, I mean, those women fought, and they fought hard. And to see a fight like that, it's but then again, not being a referee, I can say anything. You never know how much you don't know until you need to know it. And being in that ring with those, but I saw it, and I could see at times when they were getting close, I could see what was coming next.
Yeah.
I could see the movement, and I would have said something. You could see the buildup. It's like a combination. You throw 1, 2, 3, and then you boom, then boom.
Yeah.
You know those things, and you saw this coming. You know what was coming after that. And when you saw this, usually it's more than just one to set up. When you saw that one, you say something because you know that was coming next. But again, I was very careful not to bash anybody just now with what I said.
Yeah. And I don't want to bash anybody over it because, see, here's where I see the problem. And it's social media that really created it, if you really want to ask me, because, okay, I'm more famous for coming from the golden era of boxing than I am
Right.
any other genre in the history of sports. See, back in them days, you did what you had to do. You just let the fight go. These fights now, they think that that's my girl. She got robbed. They don't know. A lot of people that say this, and I even see some people that have been around just as long as me saying that Serrano got robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the referee they, like I said, they were both leading with their heads.
Yes.
The referee took a point, but Katie Taylor still won by 1 point. They want to say, oh, well, the CompuBox, she threw over 100 more punches. That doesn't mean crap. That doesn't mean crap.
Obviously.
Well, it's like I'm probably friends with more commissioners and more referees than I am any fighters in all sports. Everyone that I've talked to said what happened was they just ruined the greatest fight between two women in the modern era of women's boxing. And you know what? I sat and I thought about it. And I watched the fight over again and over again
Okay.
and over again. And you know what? I came to the conclusion that they should have just called the damn thing a draw. Because if they would have called it a draw, then we would have had the greatest fight in the history of the sport. But now we're sitting here talking
setting
about
up for a rematch.
Yeah.
But that was the second time that they fought, correct?
Yeah, but this time she fought her up three weight classes. She
I
came
got
up.
you.
Yeah, but still the thing of it is to beat the champ, you got to beat him. And she didn't beat Katie Taylor. I'm sorry. A lot of people could say and cuss me out and unfollow me and not watch my show, but I have an opinion.
Like anybody, you're entitled to that.
Yeah,
You're
but
entitled. And I heard that more than once, but my feeling. You don't leave it to the judges. If you leave it to the judges, they're gonna make you cry.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, but never, ever, ever, ever leave it to the judges.
Amen. That's
And
damn true.
that's exactly what happened. They left it to the judges, and somebody cried. And I know it's easier said than done, but no, you know what? If you can get in close enough, you train. You know what? And correct me if I'm wrong, my brother,
Yes, sir.
who's been around as long as I have. Maybe, well, I can't say longer because I'm older. But the only thing that you train for distance is conditioning.
You're absolutely right.
You don't train to take a fight 10 rounds. You don't train to win a fight by decision.
Nope.
You don't train not to knock a person out. You don't train to get in a ring to let a fight go the distance. I've never known anybody, even and no blasphemy on this with him. There's only one fighter that I've ever seen that I felt didn't train, or not didn't train, but wasn't always trying to knock you out and was more content with showing his flash and dash in the ring, and that was Jorge Paez. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, I know Jorge
You know,
Paez.
he was it. That was it. So, but you know what? If you got in there and stepped in there right, you was gone. But you don't train for distance in combat sports. You train for conditioning, and you train for stamina, and not to get winded. But you don't train to win that way. Plain and simple.
Yeah. And I'm going to add my own thought before we kind of move on. And for those people that are out there saying that Taylor's just a dirty fighter and she's always fought dirty. Well, let me clear something up. When you got a southpaw and an orthodox fighter, you're gonna have headbutts.
Heads are gonna roll.
And
Yes.
to top off with, before I move on, to top off what you were saying, I remember when Jack Reese called me and said, "Hey, bro, we need to do a show." And I said, "We need to do a show." He said, "Yeah, we need to talk about three things and three things only." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "I want you to ask me how many ways there is to knock down a fighter, how many ways there is to knock out a fighter, and what's not considered a knockdown and what's actually considered a legal blow." And we did the whole show on it. My God, I thought I knew the sport until Jack Reese. And then I'm like, I never knew there was that many ways to consider it a knockdown, not consider it a knockdown, consider it. And he's explaining to me, because you got to watch their foot. Because a lot of times what a fighter will do, put his foot on the other foot, and the guy to go, and he'll hit him and drop him. And Jack goes, "Now, is that a knockdown?"
Yes. Did I
And
not
so,
say that there were about 26 ways to win a fight?
yeah,
Those are four of them in there. There's too many ways. I mean, it's unbelievable. But I thought that the one thing I will say with that Serrano, that women's fight, is that the public got what it tuned in to see.
yeah, and more.
You got that with them. And I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to be nice on this, but from that fight, you got it. You did get what you want, what you got, what you tuned in to see from that fight.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about my brother that I've known since he was 13 years old. I don't want to even get into that because, I'll just put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
If you take Tony Holden and the Texas Commission,
Tony Holden. Shush.
that's all I got to say. Tony Holden and the Texas Commission, and you're going to understand why I ain't going to say another word because, I have my reason. I've known Tony Holden for 30 years, and I've worked with the Texas Commission on many opportunities. But you know what? In Texas, I'll be glad to say this to you, and it's nothing on behalf of my brother. It's only on behalf of me. Man, clean house and make things right because you're the dirtiest commission in this country, and you need to fix it because you're losing money. And that's all I'm going to
Needs
say on that.
need
But
need to fix.
they do.
Need to fix. But it's that was quite the Netflix
Yeah.
show.
But Netflix couldn't even control. I think there was something like 40 million, 40 to 60 million views on that fight. That's a great thing. And people ask me, what do I think about Jake Paul and Tony Holden and Jacob Chavez and BJ Flores and them bringing this type of atmosphere into boxing? Well, it's a love-hate relationship for me. I hate it because I don't want to watch the co-main and I don't want to watch the main. But what I do love about it is the opportunities they're giving to these real boxers who are coming up.
Yes.
Because if you watch the Ramos fight, I thought Ramos won that fight, but they ended up calling it a draw. I mean, he was down by 4.5, and I think he did enough to cement the deal. But you know what? I didn't cry when they called it a draw because what I saw was two men go to war with each other and do what they were supposed to do. Now, if you look at that fight, there's headbutts, there's all kinds of crap. You know, the only difference is the cuts came differently. But at the end of the night, this isn't a fan oriented sport. This is a gladiator sport. This is a combative sport. And if you want to step up in the ring, then you better be prepared to be whatever's going to handle. Again, come your way. And like Burt said, and I've known this my whole life, but I love the way he does it because he's the master and the creator of it. You never let it go to the judges. Never. If I knew I was coming up 3 weight classes to fight for a world title, that's definitely the fight. You don't make any excuses and let go to the judges.
None.
Now, see, the crazy thing, Bert, is your life has been moving so fast lately. You know, you got the book out. You know, you got a lot of a lot of things on your plate. What does it mean for Burt Watson to still be here 40, what is it, 45 years now?
Yeah, about that. About that.
What what does it mean for you? I mean, because you're still valued as much today as you were when you walked in the sport. You're still as iconic today as you were at your greatest moment. What is it about Burt Watson that encapsulates this sport? And what does Burt Watson give back from his heart? Because I know you love everything that you bring to all genres of the sport. I know boxing's your baby. I know the UFC fighters are your heart. But what is it about this sport that encapsulates you? And what about this sport has you given back so much, brother?
Well, the sport has allowed me to use my voice. And it not only to use my voice in a positive way, but to use my voice in a way that comes with experience and comes from the experience that I get from working, because I learn every day. I learn every show, every time, every person I work with, every person I walk to the ring, the cage, or the octagon, every event, every meeting in a locker room, that I sit and talk with guys, during the course of the week in a cafeteria or a restaurant, sitting down, just talking about life in general and the family. I learned so much by doing that. And I learned so much from that. And the fact that I can express all that without, I use the word pontificating. That's a big word I learned, because it's not something that I have to embellish or reach for or lie about, because it's reality, and it's something that I really know and I live and I hear it. every time I step in an event, in an arena, with a fighter, with fighters, with trainers, with cornermen, I hear it. And it teaches me the things that I need to do to stay relevant and to stay on top of it, because it's as old as this sport is, it is still as young because it's still growing. And when you have different generations, different people and different mindsets and different thought patterns, that's growth. And you have to know how to grow with that. You have to know the way I speak to guys today is not the same way I spoke to them in 1989 or 1990. You know, the way I still treat them the same way because it comes straight from here and here. But, you know, I got to tone things down and come from a different place, you know, because the generations are different. The time's different. The temperaments are a little different. The lingo's different. And we all got to know it. You got to know it. I got to know it. We OGs, we got to know, you know. I still, like I said, I still crease my jeans, but I don't have to explain that because that has become my look. That's keeping up with the times, the way things are. But we have to learn how to adjust with the times, adjust with the generations, and understand and listen to the generations. And I'm just happy that I can go through and still function, because you can get to a point where you age and you can't function. And you know, it's funny because I'm saying that, and I'm trying not to talk about what we saw last weekend.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, and I'm thankful that I have been able to make it through the different generations and the different iterations of what's been put in front of me.
That's so dope, bro. I'm gonna do something that I never do. Okay, I don't know how many people are watching because it's on multiple platforms that it only tells me from this one site. But the next 10 people that buy Burt Watson's book, I will pay shipping and handling for the book.
Wow.
And if I need to be, I will pay shipping and handling for Burt to add that the autograph to it. So if you're listening right now or by tomorrow, the 10 people, the first 10 people, Burt will tell me, whoever buys a book, the first 10 people to buy it, I will pay the shipping and handling directly to Burt, and the book will go out to you. And so, Burt, tell them how they can get your book before I kind of get to the last segment of the show, my man.
There it is, right there. Being Burt Watson, written by Burt Watson. We rolling, and it's all about my time, baby. And the book is now on Amazon. All you got to do is to go up on Amazon, and the book is there, and it'll be there for as long as you guys support me and get a copy. And believe me, there's some things in there that you got to read. You got to read. You know, I talk about my time in the Marine Corps, and, you know, my time with Joe and all the other fighters and people that I've worked with, and the little kerfluffles I've had with them. But the book is now on Amazon. And if you, like Don said, we get those first 10s, we'll work out and see how we can get it to you signed, baby.
Yeah, I'll pay shipping and handling, and you know, Burt will know the next 10 orders that come in. I'll pay shipping and handling on the next 10 orders, Burt. You just let me know the dollar amount, and I got you covered.
I appreciate that.
Well,
I appreciate the support, baby.
You're my mentor. I mean, it's like, why am I not going to give to the man that gave to me? you know?
I truly appreciate that. And you know, I thought about you because you're as much a legend in this sport as anybody else in terms of, you know, you've worked so many different areas of this sport. And I thought about you this weekend when I, you know, with that Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. I thought about, I thought about you. And you know, I had no second thought on that at all. And I'm looking here, and here's my thing falling off the wall here. And we can't
Yeah,
have that.
it just did that.
Yeah, but we can't have that. That's the book. But you know what? And I, you know, I don't want to jump off track on it for you, but
No.
you know, it's people are talking about how much they didn't like what they saw this weekend, and how I've heard people say it was disgraceful and whatever. There was, and I'm not 100% sure, but first of all, my opinion, Jake Paul is entertainment.
He
Plain
admits
and
it.
simple. He's entertainment, and you got to know what that is. Look it up.
Yeah.
He's entertainment. And Mike Tyson is a legend. There was, I think, I'm not 100%, don't quote me on this, but I think there was about $70 million up on that table for those two men.
There was.
There was no reason for that not to happen. for that kind of money. And if you had any real expectations from Mike at 60 and Jake at 28 or whatever he is, you know, yes, if by some strange thing Jake had fluffed up and got close to Mike in the first minute of that first round, because it was only 2-minute rounds, and that was for a reason, and he got caught, he would have gone down. Might not have knocked him out, but he would have gone down. But I personally think we got exactly what we were going to get from Mike Tyson in that fight at that time.
I
at
agree
this
with
stage,
you.
at 60
Well, you
years
know
old,
what?
come on.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more to it than you even are letting on, and I'll let on because I don't care who hates me as far as promoters. I don't care.
Give it to us, baby.
Well, that's why I said the Texas Commission is dirty. That fight wasn't even legal until after the fourth round. After the fourth round, it became a sanctioned fight. Second of all, the rules also stated that Mike Tyson couldn't hit Jake Paul in the head. If he did, he would be discounted money. The longer the fight went on, the more money Mike made. So if you want to sit here and talk about, Mike Tyson, I see people posting, Jake took it easy on him. Let me tell you something.
No.
I could take you a video from the day before the fight of Mike hitting the bag and mitts. His legs weren't jacked up then. His hands were working perfectly fine then. Mike would have whooped your ass all over that ring from front to back. But just like you said, and even Jake Paul admitted it, and I give him credit for this. He says it's entertainment.
Plain and simple. And my only disappointment was that they did not designate that as an exhibition fight. That was the only thing. Because and you know what? And if it was deemed an exhibition, then they probably would have, by regulation, and this, probably by regulation, they probably would have had to put on headgear.
Yeah.
They were not going to put headgears on Mike Tyson and Jake Paul on a Netflix $70 million purse. That was not going to happen.
And the crazy thing about it is people don't understand this. Well, the fight was free. It was on Netflix. Well, it was an arranged deal. Okay. But see, I think on Jake Paul, he gets 1% of the purse, and Mike got 2% on the pay-per-view purse, or however they wanted to figure it out, or however they worked it out with Netflix. They made more money just off the 1% and 2% than they actually did fight.
Well. That's also because it was on Netflix, but you had to buy Netflix to see it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, it wasn't one of those things where it was free. They said it was free. Yeah, it was free on Netflix, but everybody doesn't have Netflix.
Yeah. You
And
just didn't have to
Netflix,
pay the pay-per-view charge.
right? Next Netflix is a monthly subscription. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they just
Well,
bought it for that one
you do
night.
the math. You do the math. Let's just say, like they said, 47.2 million viewers
Okay.
times $7. That's a lot of money.
Is that how
That's
many
a for
viewers they had?
over 40 million.
And that's not how many eyes that were on it. That's how many people actually bought the fight.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's insane. I mean, and to put it, and I don't talk politics, but just to give a basic example, when Trump was on Joe Rogan, he pulled almost 40 million, views too. So that's a lot of freaking people, So
yeah.
that's why I say I love and hate what Jake Paul's doing. I don't like his fights. I don't want to see him. Now they're saying they're going to pay. It's a joke, but it's out there.
They're
That
exhibitions, man.
Yeah, but they're talking about paying him money to push George down the stairs. I mean, this is what taints and pisses me off about what's going on. If you
paying him
guys
money to
just,
do what?
they said that they would pay Jake Paul X amount of dollars to push George Foreman down the stairs. It's a hypothetical joke, but the thing of it is
Entertainment.
it's out there. Well, so is the UFC. If you really want to put it down into writing, who owns the UFC? Endeavor, WWE. I mean, see, this is what people don't understand. And I don't want to piss anybody off, but I speak facts. And if you don't like it, then get off my show. I don't care. But the bottom line is, once it's branded as entertainment, you can't expect anything but entertainment.
Entertainment.
See, so technically,
well spoken.
Well, yeah, because the UFC basically can do what Jake Paul's doing right now and still consider, because they're under that umbrella.
Entertainment.
Yep. It's all entertainment, folks. You go back to when me and Burt were working with the Golden Era boxers. I saw guys that got paid $400, $500, $600 a night, for a title fight.
$50, anywhere from $20 to $50 a round.
Yeah. Tell them how much when Mike was 13, 14 years old. How many grown ass men from 23 to 28 couldn't even stay in the gym because Mike was beating the crap out of them? They couldn't even get enough of them.
Nope.
And to tell me that Jake Paul beat him, like I said, that's entertainment. You want to believe in it, you want to watch it, that's what you're going to get. But Burt, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I want to do something tonight before I wrap things up, because I know it's getting a little late. And every time we get on here, we're on here for 3 freaking hours, but the fans love you. Let me get to their comments first, actually. Steve Rothman, you know him from the Fighting News, Mr. Steve Rothman.
What's up, baby? Hey, Steve, don't forget that. See my stuff fell down back there?
Yeah, Steve, you get it. I'll pay your shipping and handling. My grandfather, my adopted grandfather, Mr. Artie, I told you about him. He's Billy Costello, and he said, yes. Burt is the man. Jonathan Cole says, always great to be on with two of the sports legends and making combat sports a better place for all. Brother, get better. Heal up, brother, and
get better, baby.
Man, my man Randy Marshall. I've known this man probably, God, longer than anybody other than you.
Wow.
He says, Don and Burt, straight up gentlemen. That man right there used to manage. He did Kung Lee, Mayhem Miller, helped with Dan. Bro, Dan Severn.
Yeah.
He's worked with everybody, bro. Randy he's like, that's the dude that hooked me up with Leland Chapman from Dog the Bounty Hunter, bro.
I got you. Okay.
He's solid. He said, wow, snitching to the boss as lame as what were you referring to, Randy? I'll call you later. We'll figure it out. And let me see, man. My brother Casey Harrison. What's up, brother? Ward says, I'm almost ready to move past being a fighter after 16 years in the gang. Burt, what would you like to say to that man after leaving being a fighter for 16 years?
All praises to you, man. You know, and I know how hard it is. That's why he's been around 16 years. How hard it is to leave something that has become a part of your mainstay, a part of who you are and what you do. But enjoy what you did and realize what you did, and sit down and think about the things that you did and cherish those times, baby. You got to do that.
Yeah, you really
Because
do.
nobody else is going to appreciate it more than you yourself. Nobody.
Thank you, man. No, that was so beautiful. Another brother of
Appreciate
mine out of the other side of Canada, he says half a century. Uh, half a century, we will say G salute. You know, his godfather was Gordie Howe, Gordie
Gordie
Simpson,
Howe. Wow. Wow.
a great hockey player, and then the one and only. I know you know this name, Steve Arce.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And that's actually him. That's really him, bro.
Is
And
that
then
right?
yeah. And then my other homie out of Drayton, Canada, Mr. Brian Halderson says, "Good evening." You know, I
You
told
know,
you
I've
everybody
sold,
loves you, bro.
I've sold a few books in Canada, and to all my Canadian brothers and sisters up there, you know, I appreciate you. I appreciate the support, but I appreciate the support of everybody, all your fans, everybody on this your podcast, and everybody that listens to it. And I'd like to say something, and I know it's a little past that, but I'd like to say it anyway. I'm a former Marine.
Dallas.
During the Vietnam era, and to all veterans, I'd like to say I know that Veterans Day is behind us, but to me, Veterans Day is every day, and any day somebody can get a chance to say it to you. Thank you for your service, and
Thank
all
you, man.
praises to you, each and every single one of you. And Veterans Day, I walked from the stage with the mayor of the city of Philadelphia to the tomb of the unknown and laid a wreath. So to each and every one of you, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Semper Fidelis, my brother. Semper
Yes,
Fidelis.
sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, Jonathan Cole says, I love the UFC. Friday night weigh-in shows, great times, and my favorite era for Burt with the UFC. You know, Burt, before I would gotta keep getting sidetracked, and I promise I'll get your comments.
Mhm.
But for me, that was the first time I've ever seen a main event with a fighter who hasn't fought in 3 years and his opponent hadn't fought in four, being John Jones and Stipe Miocic. Was that the first time you've ever seen that?
Well, with both fighters, yes. But you know, it's what you said earlier about social media and how it has influenced. Not only has it influenced, but it has relevancy. It makes things relevant, and it keeps things relevant. That's also how, even though Stipe and John both may not have been in the ring or in the octagon 2 years or better, they've managed to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Through the influence of social media, and luckily for us, they both were tremendous fighters.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't get in there and look like what we thought would probably happen after somebody not being in it so long. Stipe got caught with a shot that John would have caught anybody with that or that elbow. Anybody. You know, and in the heavyweight division right now, if you think about it, I don't think there's anybody that he couldn't compete with right now.
I'm in total agreement with you.
Or do I think there's anybody that Stipe couldn't compete with if given a shot? So, you know, I believe in the longevity of, you take care of your body and your mind, it takes care of you. And you know, it is what it is, baby.
Well,
And as
you
long
said
as
you said something that's very relevant, though, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, and
Go
I
ahead.
apologize. You said they're both capable of winning on their own, and you know what they
Yes.
are. Yeah, they truly are. But here's the great thing about these guys. You know, it's like you said. There's nobody else in the division that can beat either one of them.
No,
You know, but
no.
when you said that, it caught my heart because there's one guy that can't beat either of them, and they're his kryptonite. And you know who I'm talking about, Daniel
Yeah.
Cormier. He
Cormier.
can't beat either one of them. And I love Daniel Cormier. I've known him since he was 12 years old. He's been on my show a multitude of times. You know, there's just going to be fighters on your walk that will always have your number. You will never be able to beat them, no matter how much you try. I've seen it time and time again. You know, and the sad part, we talked about Mike and this and that, but, you know, we left out one of the true greatest heavyweight champions of modern era in boxing, and that's Evander Holyfield. See, the thing of it is, Mike gets all the attention, but Evander's the only four-time true heavyweight champion of the world.
Right, right.
You know,
Right.
I was inducted with the man. He's bitter, he's sour, not very friendly with his
And you know
fans.
what? And so he should be. And
Yeah,
so he should be.
yeah.
But you know, that's it is what it is, man.
Well, you want to hear
That's
something beautiful? Evander is broke. They've taken his houses, his car dealership. He lives in a
wow.
one-bedroom apartment. But this is where the beauty comes in. Even his own daughter is suing him for $178,000. But here,
No.
yeah, but here's where the beauty comes in about this fight that just happened this last weekend. Mike Tyson gave Evander Holyfield $250,000 to pay off his back child support. That's
Wow.
that's the
Didn't know
sport.
that.
That's the sport, bro. That's the sport that
Mhm.
I know. That's the
Mhm.
sport that I love. When we
Mhm.
came up, if you fell down, everybody helped you up. You know, and it's like this sport nowadays it's different, but to see something like that perplex and two brothers come together that really didn't
Wow.
like each other. Well, because Evander's always felt like Mike's got the light, which he did.
Which he
And
did. Which he did. And you know, it was the same thing with Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, and Oscar De La Hoya and everybody in his time, and you know, Bernard Hopkins and everybody in his time. It happens. But I think it was Evander and Lennox Lewis were there, and they did something with those two and Mike Tyson. But you know, that's sports it's like that, man. That's the way it is in all sports, you know, across the board. And the way the media works, you know, is and I lived it. I lived
they
it.
spin it.
I don't think there has ever been a more bitter person with the media than Smoking Joe Frazier.
Evander's pretty
Okay.
close, bro.
Joe lived his whole life behind Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I feel you.
Every bit of it. Every bit of his career. Win, lose, or draw. If he won, he still lived behind him. If he lost, he still lived. But that's what the media did.
Yeah.
And you know, I heard it, so you know, I had first ear of it, ear of the end of it, of how he really felt. The years that he was able to express himself without being crucified, and he did it. And I heard it. But you know what? That's kind of the way it is. And I'll tell you something that I see, and I'll say this and let you go. And I know, boy, we kill it when we get on. The one thing that I will say, Mike Tyson is one of the few people that I know that fell down, got up, fell down again, got up, fell down, got up again in front of our eyes, in front of the world. And the world got to see every time that man fell out of the bed, fell out of the chair, fell off the roof, fell out of the jail. The world got to see all of that, and he did all of that, and he's still the person that he is today. And last weekend walked out of there with 30 million or whatever.
30 million plus after all said and done. But hey, I've told these people I get through all their comments real quick, so we're gonna do this real quick. I apologize, but let me see. Gordy says Evander literally got bit in so many ways throughout life. This kind of
he did. Yes, he did.
But he's a great dude. It's just he lets his mind overtake his walk sometimes. But you know what? I'd be the same way if I walked in his shoes. Ward Lavelle Kendall says fighters know more about the man standing across from us than they know about themselves, and deep down we want to see them succeed. That's a true statement.
Yes.
My brother Paul Driscoll said word on your analogy, and I think you're spot on. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to, and Gordy says no argument there. I'm not going to get to everybody's comments because Burt's got to get, but he says Tyson could have used a backstage to tell him to put some damn pants on. Yeah, I didn't want to see Mike's butt.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's normal for us in the back, though.
Right, but I'm going to say, I want to say this to everybody. One thing that I did was I controlled my environment.
Yes, you did.
And I controlled everything, and I looked at everything, and I controlled it without being offensive to anybody. I think the only person I ever offended was Mayhem Miller, and that was because I told him to take a damn bag off his head. Okay, but those things, when you coordinate behind the scenes and backstage of fighters, those are things you got to put in their ears. Those are things you got to say. Those are things you got to tell a guy. You got to know it. And there's not a person I know that knows that if Mike Tyson can walk out stage on a jock strap, he would do it.
Oh, he would.
Come on.
He'd walk out with a sock on it.
So you know what? You don't let that happen.
No, you don't.
The best you can. And I've been this close to Mike and telling him that there's something he wasn't going to do.
Oh, you can't tell Mike.
And if you read, get that book, you'll see it.
I'm
that
telling
fight with him and Lou Savarese, So anyway.
I'm gonna tell everybody again right now. I made this earlier for those that join me now on other YouTube and wherever else. The first, I'll do 15. The first 15 books that sell, I will pay the shipping and handling. And if it costs to get the autograph to you, I'll pay for that too. But Burt will know.
Burt Watson.
So Burt, even if they're not from my show, the next 15 books you sell, I'll pay the shipping and handling on them.
My man. Okay.
So everybody go to Amazon right now. Go to Amazon right now.
Go to Amazon right now. There you go.
And go and get Being Burt Watson. I think it's $41.75 or $41.25, something like that.
The book?
Yeah.
$24.
$24. I'm sorry, I'm backwards. Dyslexic Don. So $24.99 and I'll pay the shipping. I'll pay the shipping and handling.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Hey, one last thing. I want to
Yes,
touch on
sir.
one thing before we go because,
Yes, sir.
you know, I love the man. I know you love your wife. I know you love your family. I know you love life. And I know you've been my brother for many years, and we've almost had cops shoot us and all kinds of crazy things on our walk. But what I want to know is because I never had the opportunity until I was 30 to get a chance with my mother. And I had the right to tell her to get bent or let her be in my life. And I chose to have her in my life for 3.5 years, the greatest 3.5 years of my life. What was it like? What's it like for Burt Watson now to look back and realize what your mother did for you, how much she did for you, how much of your mother is truly in the walk of Burt Watson? Take me from a little tyke all the way up to when you used to eat fish and grits with Smoking Joe Frazier.
You know, the first chapter of my book talks about my mother and the relationship that I had with my mother and the influence that my mother had on me goes throughout the book. And I talk about that. And I talk about how my mother taught me how to make a bed up without getting out of it. How my mother taught me how to prepare myself for whatever faced me when I walked out of my door, my front door, my living room, to go to school, to go to work, to face the hood and everything that came with that upbringing. By the time I got to the Marine Corps, that was a breeze because I had been through my mother. Okay. I had a drill instructor all my life, and I talk about my mom, how much of an influence she was in my life and how she taught me how to maintain and sustain and how to stand up to certain things. So she was definitely my rock. And how irony, how things have a way. When I left the UFC, when that incident happened to me, it was easy for me. My mother at the time was getting sick and was close to, I won't say dementia, but the symptoms. So it made it easy for me to walk away and go home to take care of my mother. And that's what I did. And that's something I never said before, but it's in my book. But it was easy for me because I had been on the phone with her that weekend and I could tell she was going through it for the way she was talking on the phone. So when that person came to me, he caught me at the ass end of that, which was a bad time. And he got it. And I went home. I went home to so it was, and once I got home with her and she was comforted by the fact that I was home and it was easier for me to be home. I didn't realize that I had just walked away from the best job I'd ever had, but it didn't matter because I walked away to walk home. But nobody knows that. And I'm saying that to you now for the first time ever. But that's what that meant to me. And that's what she meant to me. Period.
See, that's beautiful, bro, because a lot of people say, well, why did you let your mom back in your life? Well, I'll tell the story for the first time. A couple of my close friends really know it, and then I'll let you dip. I was 30 years old and I was getting ready to come here. And I was 29, getting ready to turn 30. And I wanted to say goodbye, even though I didn't know this woman, didn't know these people. And I went and I had to stand on the sidewalk because I wasn't allowed on the property, and so, and I wanted my mom to see her grandson for the first time before we even dipped. And so I'm out there and she comes out and She said, Donnie, I'm sorry. And she said, I just want you to know that I took an ass whooping every day. She said, but you were the only one he beat on. And I said, yeah, but
Wow.
I still don't get why you let a man come from the bar and make you give away one of your kids. I said, I understand the other six had to eat and didn't get hit. I said,
Right.
but how do you think that made me feel? She said, like I said, you don't think I got my ass whooped every day?
Wow.
And, I sat there and I thought about it. This woman loved me so much that she gave me up and still took an ass whooping every day, but she didn't want me to walk that walk that she did. And
Right.
I flew that woman out here more times than I could shake a stick. I went out there every once in a while because, like I said, I didn't know those people and they gave me crap. When I went out there one time, I was in a wheelchair and my mom's brother came up to me and said, I'll still kick your ass in the chair or not. And, you
Wow.
know, but that's how they roll, bro. It's like, I want people to understand that, yeah, I didn't have a life. Yeah, I didn't have a mother. Yeah, they didn't let me come home from military school and this and that. But you know what? God only gives you one mother,
Yes.
and He gave me
Good.
two chances with her, and I took that second chance, and I don't regret it, because that was 3.5 of the most beautiful years of my life, and I
Amen, my
don't.
brother. I know. I
I
know what. I know what that is. I know what that is. I didn't
It's
know
just
what it
real.
was until it hit me. I didn't know what it was until it hit me, and I had to. I had to. I didn't have to make a choice because I knew what I was going to do. But it was. It made it. It was just. I did that without thinking because I know my thoughts were there, and I know she needed me, and I answered it, plain and simple.
It was hard for me, bro. And then to have her die in
Wow.
my arms, to have her die in my arms, and you know I know a lot of people will never be there or have to walk that walk, but that takes a part of you. That takes a part that you can't understand, you can't get back. And
Can't
then
get
here I
back.
get, and I'm in a wheelchair, like I said, so I get up to go give. Well, my mom, she was already dead, so but I went up to give her a kiss. And my sister that died last week or about 10 days ago, something like that, um, snatched me and slapped the crap out of me. And my brother-in-law, her husband, said, I'm stepping in here. He said, I don't know who the hell you think you are, but you ain't got no right to tell that man he can't kiss his mama goodbye. He said, I may be your
Wow.
husband and I may hear it later. He said, but you sit your ass down and you
Wow.
and you stay the hell out of that man's business. And he picked me up and allowed me to give my mother a kiss, bro. And so to my brother-in-law, Gary, I love you for who you are. I love you for what you did. The rest of the family, I don't hate you, but I don't got to be around you. With that being said, Bert, I want these people to understand, so I'm going to say it one more time. I'm not going to send you money. Go to Amazon, buy the book. Bert will give me the stuff. I'll pay the shipping and handling, but it's got to go through Amazon. The first 15 books it sells on his end, he's going to do it for me. Now, if you're a close friend with me, I'll make sure you get an autographed book and I'll take care of that, but you're still going to have to buy the book. I'll pay the shipping and handling. But
Appreciate you,
man,
baby.
brother, well, I've walked many walks with you and I'm still enamored that I even get to call you my brother. And I don't even know all the damn stories that you ever been through, but I know every one of them is exciting, exhilarating, and factual. So if you really want to know what it's like to come from being the greatest in the world of boxing, all the way up to being at the top in MMA and all the other genres this Bert's been in, get the book, baby. Get the book.
Appreciate you.
And I
Appreciate you, my
love you,
brother.
brother.
Peace.
Hey,
Always.
always, baby.
You got the best show going, baby.
I just like sharing real, man. If you can't share real, you ain't got no right to share nothing. And you know what? Am I perfect? No. I'm a practicing perfect person. I'm not a perfectly person. So Everybody always says, I always tell
Well,
everybody,
you may not be as you may think you're not, but you are for real. And that's all that counts, baby. Because nobody's gonna remember anything else but that. Appreciate you,
love
baby.
you, baby.
Thanks, Dan.
Love
Love
you
you too,
too.
baby. Peace. Thanks.
God bless. Bye-bye. I love me some Burt Watson. Uh, man, I'm hurting, so I'm going to wrap things up real quick. It's been a great show. I didn't know it was an hour and a half long, but I love you. God bless you. Please give the show a share. Like I said, the first 15 people, Gordy, I'll talk with you. I got you, Gordy. Uh, and Paul, I will get the Champions Forever photo too, bro. We'll work that out. But if I don't ask for money, so if you could just give the show a share, I'd greatly appreciate it. You know, Bert's my mentor, and Bert is a great man. Without Bert, there wouldn't have probably, well, my grandfather and Bert, they made me. But on the sports side, I probably wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for Burt Watson. So, you know, I got into it, but he helped create me, and he's one hell of a mentor. So, on that note, have a good night, and God bless, and thank you all.